Hi, I'm Jake Birkett, and this is a programming video in Pico-8 on my hobby game called Cyberjam. So last time, is this running? Yeah. So last time I added a power up, which is this blue dot here, and when you pick that up, the player bullet increases in size. Now at the moment it's only a visual change, so I need to increase the power, change the hitbox, and I've got some other things I want to do. So let's get stuck into it. Firstly, bullet power is in the player class at the moment, I think. Sorry, this is the tab for player. Let's go to the top. I've got a thing there called bullet power. The thing is, it's a bit weird having it on the player, and I think I need to attach it to the actual bullet itself. So I'm going to look for the code where I'm spawning the bullet and just see if it's easy enough to sort of add a new field there. Somewhere at the bottom here it should sort of say create bullet or something. That's update bullets. Oh, I don't think it's there. Shoot. Make bullet. What I wish this ID, I know it's a primitive ID, but I wish it had an ability to just jump to the function, so I could press a button on this and it would go to show me where that is. So make bullet. Well, I can search at least, so let's assume it's in the same tab. Yep, here we go. Make bullet. So it's saying if power up type is 0, create sprite 9, which is the pea shooter one, and if it's 10, create this bigger one. Actually, before we do the bullet power, I just want to adjust this a bit. Sprites which are moving, you know, you have to bear in mind they sort of look different than static sprites, and I wanted to have this more of a tail effect. No, I don't know about that. Maybe also darker on the end like this. Don't know. Let's just have a look. Pick the power up. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Notice you can't really see the dark blue though. So what if I just go back to that? Well, yeah, it's okay. I'm not sure I'm 100% happy with it, to be honest. I wanted to get a sort of tapered effect, but I just don't think there's enough pixels to sort of do it justice. No. Maybe I'll go back to the original type. No, that definitely feels a bit weird. I'm going to do... Let's try that. Yeah, I think I like that. It's an upgrade, but not sort of crazy. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, sorry, so that was a diversion. With pixel art, you can fiddle for a long time trying to get it right. So this makes the sprites, but what I want to do at the same time is set the bullet power at the same time. Yeah, so I'm wondering if I can just literally go b.bullet power. In fact, we can actually set a default outside of here and then just adjust it for the bigger bullet power. And then where it says player bullet power, I'm going to delete that, and whenever any damage is done, I'm going to use the bullet power. So where we are. So this bit of code is bullet versus enemies, and when it hits, it reduces the enemy health by player bullet power, but we need to change that to the bullet, which is where I think it's called S because it's being passed in. We'll soon find out. S.bullet power. Okay, and an easy way to test this will be if I go to the level editor and I add in one of these. This is a tentacle. I'll put it there actually. which you only need to draw the top sprite, and the game engine picks up that enemy type and creates the whole one, because it's animated and so on. So this has, I think, 5 health. Let's test. Oh, it didn't like that. Attempt to index local value B. Where are we talking? Bullet, make bullet line 50. Back to the code. Put it on the right line anyway. B dot bullet power equals 1. It doesn't like that. I think it's because it hasn't been created yet. Make sprite hasn't been called. So actually I do need it in there. I can't have a default. No, okay. Right, so anyway, this should take 5 hits. Let's test. That was 5. Okay, I'm going to restart the game. Now if this has a power 2, it should take 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. Correct. So we've done bullet power. That works. It's more powerful. Let's look at the collision detection, because I think I did a kind of rubbish collision detection before. There was a function called bullet versus enemies or something. Just going to look for that. Player versus enemies. Bullet versus scenery. Ah, okay. Bullet versus enemies. Right. Okay. It doesn't look like there's a lot of shared code here, which is a bit annoying. So where does it do the collision detection? Bullet versus enemies. It's doing an offset. I think S is the bullet sprite. An offset of the sprite width -1. Don't know why it's doing that. I mean, let's just have a look at the bullet sprite. It does go to the end, so not really sure why I'm doing that. Offset Y 6. Yeah, probably because that's 0. Oops, I didn't mean to paint that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So probably why. Yeah, I don't know why I'm reducing the width by 1. That is strange. Oh, okay. I think it's because the width is like 8, right? And so I want it to test pixel 7. So this coordinate is pixel 7 across and 6 down, based on a 0. If that's 0 up there, this down here is 7 by 7. That's why. Okay. So if the sprite is flipped, then it changes the offset to 0. So this is the other way around. It would need to be over there. That's fine. Test. So it's getting the sprite X, adding on the offset to get a test X. And then it's passing that, or it's using that down here. It's getting the enemy. It's looking at the enemy hitbox, the enemy X, and the hitbox offset. Okay. All right. And it's saying if the X is greater than the hitbox and the X. Okay, it's probably a giant if statement with the Y stuff. So it's only testing a single pixel, which, I mean, ideally it would be testing a rectangle for the length of the bullet, but it's just testing the end, which is pretty much okay because it's firing fast and flying along. I mean, ideally it would test a rectangle, but I think this would be okay for now. But what I want to do for this fat bullet is test 2 pixels. So I want to test, I'm going to show you them, I'm making them red. I want to test those 2 pixels, and that would be okay. We don't need to test the middle one. It will mean it's not at the leading edge of the bullet, but I think it will still be okay. I mean, it's such a rare scenario that you need to test the leading one and not those 2. So all of this code is going to have to change depending on the bullet type, which is kind of a bit annoying, to say the least. Is the enemy destructible? Okay. All right. Invulnerable. Yeah, okay. Delete bullet. Right, so let's have a look at this. What I think I need to do is say if B I've just realized something. So at the top of the code, I'm saying player power up type, right? That's fine. But when I create the bullet itself doesn't know what type it is. It knows if it's got more, if it does more damage. Let's just look up make bullet again. Okay. It knows if it does more damage, but it doesn't know what type it is. So I think I need to pass this power up type onto the bullet. That can definitely be sort of a default thing I can do down here. So b dot is type okay? It depends if I'm using that field on the sprites. I'm just going to look up sprite class, see if the word type is in there. To be honest, it's better if I make it like bullet type equals player dot power up type. Okay, so now the bullet knows what sort of type it is, and I'm going to use this in the collision detection. Scrolling up, maybe scrolling down under all this giant move function. Bullet versus enemies. Right, what was I doing? If, confusingly it's called S here, probably should have called it B. If S dot bullet type is 1, we just want to test 1 pixel. All of these coordinates actually up here are for the 1 pixel. So we do this test, and then I'm going to set a variable. I'm going to declare a local variable outside called hit, and have it as false. If it does hit, I'm going to say hit equals true. We'll end this if and this if, and we'll have a new one here, if hit. Let's actually spread that out for clarity. If hit, then do this whole thing. Yeah, so this won't change at the moment for bullet type 1, hopefully not. Doesn't like it. What's the matter then? Missing. So right, this is an enemy here. Oh, it's passing right through. So I bodged this somehow. If s dot bullet type is 0, is it? Yeah, for the default bullet. Yeah. All right, so that's all fine. Now for the big bullet, we want to do something else. We'll have an else if. Let's else if bullet type is 1, then it's too many ends. Okay, I'm going to change the test coordinates. I'm going to put in a comment. Check 1 pixel above and below, at the top and bottom actually. Come in 1 pixel from the end. Yeah. So let's have a look. Test X is, depending on the flip state, we've either got to add 1 or subtract 1. We don't have to. I mean, I could just test these pixels, which would mean this might be okay. I mean, be lazy, but I'm going to do it properly. So if where's flip? Let's look at the flip. If flip X, then off X equals 1 instead, so it's 1 pixel in. This is definitely a case for an else. I think I can put that on the same line. Else off X equals sprite.width minus 2 instead, sprite.width minus 2. That's why I took the time to understand what was going on up above, because I knew I'd need to use it down here. So that should bring it in 1 from the tip. This is going to be hard to test. I mean, we'll know if it hits an enemy, but it's really hard to test a specific pixel without sort of slowing down time and checking, you know, recording a video and playing back or something. If s.flipx, then offset 1, else offset. Yeah, I think that is correct. So that's the X handled. Maybe I will put this comment here. Right. What we can do is just say test Y minus equals 1. I don't know if that syntax works here. And then let that run. And then I can run it again. Test Y plus equals 2 this time. Because I want it to go, at the moment the coordinate was here for the thin bullet. And I've moved it in 1. I've moved it up 1. And then the next one is down 2. So that's my kind of crazy logic here. Doesn't like that. Unclosed function. Ugh. It's always a bit annoying if you get those. It normally just means there's an end missing somewhere. Is that? What would be even really handy on this is a scroll bar. I guess it says what line I'm on. Line 1, 180. Cripes. Huh. Let's just go back to make bullet. Is this wrong? This is correct. Alright. Was it called bullet versus enemies? Yeah. There must be something missing in here. I'm just gonna oh, there's an end missing there. There it is. Okay. So yeah, that still works. Let's pick up the power up and see if this works. Good. So we know for sure it's using this bit of code. I've actually got some sort of primitive debug stuff in this engine. So if you notice in the bottom corner there's a 0 in the bottom left. That's actually a debug value, which if I go to general settings, I can set debug to whatever I want and it will display it on the screen. So if I go back here, if I want to check the offset value, whoops, I can go debug 1 equals offset X. Let's run that. So we don't see it now because it's not in the code. Pick the power up. Now it's changed to 6. If I go the other way, it should be 1. So it's 1. So we know that that's working. Yeah, and if we wanted, we could check test Y. It's sort of not much point. I mean, I think it's working. Well, actually, okay, we'll try this. Debug. We'll just put a value of 1 in there. So this should show on an enemy, yes, you hit it, and it's only doing that in that bit of code. Let's try this one. Yeah, value changed to 1, so that's good. So I'm pretty confident that works. There could be more tests that I could do, but that would do for now. The only thing is this same code technically needs to be applied to further down here, bullet versus scenery. How am I testing that? Get pixel solid. So I'm just testing a single pixel. Right, and it's using the same kind of offset code. I probably should update that, maybe. I mean, I don't have to. It's a bit lazy, but I don't have to, because all it would mean is this bullet might skim along a surface, you know, half embedded in it, if I don't test above and below and just keep the old code. So it's not terrible. The important point is you want it to be wider and have more tests when you're hitting an enemy. I mean, I could even do stuff like put the test points above and below like this, or more like here and then down here, to make it feel fatter than it actually looks. But I'll leave it as it is. So the important bit is the collision is better against enemies. Against walls, it's sort of less of an issue, so I'm going to leave that alone. One thing I am going to do though is, notice when you fire a bullet into a wall, there's a small X that appears. In order to make this feel more powerful, I want a bigger X. It just occurs to me I probably should have a different sound as well. So yeah, we'll do both of those. Let's do the sound first. Bullet versus, right, make bullet. Okay, that's funny, there's no sound effect in there. Probably I've got the sound in the firing code. There it is. So let's get rid of it from there. Make bullet. Okay, so for bullet type 1 we'll have sound 0. Must have been the first sound I made. Let's do another sound for bullet type 2. Sorry, well, 1 technically. Okay, so I don't know if there's a way to copy this. I'm going to just try Control C. Copied 0 notes. Okay, that doesn't seem right. I think, I think I'm highlighting this. Yeah, I think maybe this is, I'm using Shift to highlight everything. Let's do copy. Copy 32 notes. Go to sound 15. Go back here, paste. Let's go back to the other mode. Whoa, that is not what I was expecting. I think the problem is the speed. The speed was probably 1. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so how to make that sound more powerful? I could change the waveform, or just like lower it in sound is probably best. Is that, yeah, I'm just going to lower it sort of randomly. Not sure that sounds any good. Well, it's not punchy enough is the problem. This one at least was punchy. Let me go back and check. I don't know, that one just sounds great. Maybe I can just make it sound. Let's get rid of those. I'm still not familiar with how this works. I think I can just do that. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Let's put that in here as 15. Let's run it and test. So maybe, to be honest, this is too powerful sounding for the pea shooter, but anyway, let's try this. Yeah, that's cool. Definitely got a sort of bassier sound. So let's run it again. Cool. One thing I haven't done is up the fire rate. I'm okay with bigger bullets for now. Perhaps we'll have another power up later which changes the fire rate of the pea shooter instead. Right, that was a sound. What else was I doing? I've forgotten. I was doing sound. Oh yeah, the X when it hits the wall. So I think that's the X when it hits the wall. We need a bigger one. I'm sort of running out of space to create particles here. I could reuse one like that, maybe. I could even show a sparkle animation where it lands instead of flashing that one. Let's go and look at the code anyway. I want to look at bullet versus scenery. Okay, So if it hit a solid wall, oh, make explosion 2, that's the wall, kill. Not sure which bit of code is the bullet explosion. Delete bullet, make explosion 2. Yeah, that's it. I'm pretty sure explosion 2 is the bullet. Yeah, it is. So we need more if statements again. Bullet versus enemies. Oh, I've got to do it twice. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it against the wall first. So bullet explosion 2. We need if s dot bullet type equals 0, then make the traditional explosion, else if bullet type is 1, then end. Yeah, I know there's probably smarter ways to do this in Pico-8, but I haven't figured it out yet. Like attach, what I'd prefer to do is attach a sort of function and call a specific function on this bullet for its explosion, or pass an explosion type into make explosion and do something in there. But this will work. I mean, it's a game jam game, it's sort of a bit hacky. So let me test this. It should still explode, but now it won't explode when, yeah, there's no X. Okay, so now we can make another thing, make explosion 3 or something. Okay, let's go and look at the code here. Make explosion, where's 2? Cripes, explosion 2. Oh, I've already got an explosion 3, enemy bullet explosion. Right, we'll have explosion 4. I think I could do, yeah, player bullet or fat bullet explosion. Fine. So it's making a sprite, setting up an animation, 1,4. Oh, that means one frame for 4. I think that's the speed, because the X just displays and then disappears. Explosion 3, enemy bullet explosion, is just that. But if I want to use sparkle, I need to do something else. So yeah, I think I can just call make sparkle, to be honest. Let's try it. It might not look right for this bullet. I might need a different animation. Oh, it returns it for some reason. So local E equals that. I'm just going to comment out the old code. XY scale, we need, just do a scale of 1, I guess. Let's see what happens. What's going on there then? That's weird. Oh, I forgot to change it in the code here. Make explosion 4. It's getting real messy. Okay, so the coordinates are clearly wrong. Looks kind of cool though. Do I want to keep that, or do I want to do something else? I mean, I could just make a bigger one of those. It feels a bit long-winded, the sparkle. Or I could use that. What frame is that? 27. Oh, I see what's happening with the coordinates now. So it's used to a single sprite doing one there. Okay. Yeah, let's get rid of this sparkle one. And we will try sprite 27. Yeah, that feels kind of more powerful. just the y coordinate is off by 1, 2, 3. Yeah, off by 3. So x comma y. Okay, so I'm just going to have to do y minus 3. Is that right? No, it's 1 too high, isn't it? So minus 2. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think that's fair enough because that's your WinPP shooter. This one's got more power, so yeah, that's cool. What might have been nice is if I could have done a really quick sparkle sort of from that one going backwards to the other one, but I don't think the animation system supports going negative frames, you know. I guess I could do those two, 26 to 27. Let's try that. But it would be like a sparkle, but just fast. Maybe I just needed a fast sparkle all along. I think I need that too. Let's try it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Is the speed okay? Let's try speeding it up. That's actually too fast to see the initial frame. What about 3? I don't know. It's okay. It feels almost glitchy, so I think 4 might be better. Yeah, we'll stick with that. Okay, so the only thing is I need to apply this same code to when it blows up on an invulnerable enemy. So yeah, let's have a look here. I'm going to tab that in. We need if s.bullet type equals 0, then do a basic one, otherwise that. We can test that on, whoops, what's wrong with this? Okay, bullet versus enemy. I'm missing an end. Often in this, if you're missing an end, you don't find out until it's got the code. It puts the error somewhere else completely differently. Alright, so we need to test that on the next screen. I've actually got hotkeys to switch screens, so if I press 2, it puts us here. These enemies are invulnerable, so we should get the X for that, which is fine. Let's go back to the first screen, go through here, and then we should see the sparkle on these. Yeah, we do. And on the wall. Good. Now, probably you're watching this thinking, oh my god, why have you been doing that? The same code in 2 places. So it is a bit messy, isn't it? So I'm going to cut this and say bullet explode. Put it under here, I think. Bullet explode. I should have done this earlier. Pass in S. Let's get rid of these. Tab this in. End. Okay. Oh, I've got to pass in the coordinates as well. Admittedly, they don't need to be test X and Y now. Oh, and offsets. Oh no. Okay. All right. Huh. Yeah. Okay. I made it more complicated for myself. Bullet versus enemies. Where was the explosion code? Bullet there. S, comma. I'm going to pass in this stuff. That. because that appears to work okay. So bullet and then the 2 coordinates. Yeah, fine. And the same code down here. Let's copy and paste. Just check it's the same. Test x plus offset, test y minus 1. Yeah, okay. That can be tabbed in. Yeah. And then we want comma x comma y, and I can change this whole thing to just x y. Copy that, paste that in there. Everything needs a test again. So basic bullets, yeah. Test on invulnerable enemies. I saw it even though I got hit by the rocket. Yeah, good. Test with a fat bullet on the wall. Good. And not going to taken out by that again. Good, it works. So it's quite a lot of work, but I mean I prefer to have that code separately rather than cluttering this stuff up here. Similarly, actually, where I've got this code that looks for the hit here, a bullet type is 1, I probably could get all of this, stick this in a function, and then when I do bullet versus scenery, call it there as well, though I appear to be using a different bunch of code, pixel solid versus whatever I'm doing in the enemies code. Yeah, that's just checking coordinates. So it's actually different code, so it's not really the same. Just a bit of a shame really to have 2 completely different types of collision code, but there you go. Scenery blocks in the game are different from the sprites. Alright, so we've got a power up. Oh yeah, I don't like the graphic at the moment. Also, it doesn't take up a whole square, so you pick it up when you're 1 pixel away from it. So let's improve the graphic here. I think what I want to do ultimately is have a sort of round power up. Possibly I could animate it as well, like animate the outside in a sort of color cycling way, but for now I think I want to have it almost filling up the whole square. It doesn't matter if you you know, it collides on the corner, that's okay. So, and then in the middle some kind of color that we could then put a symbol on. The symbol, it could be a letter. A lot of games have a letter for power-ups, often because they don't have enough sprites to play with, because if I was to try to get this bullet, I need to represent this bullet on the power-up symbol, which is sort of possible, but I mean, was it white, grey, blue? Might be able to do it, but some representation of it, like maybe. Let's have a look. So you're not getting that shape of bullets, the only problem. You're getting something else. I mean, ideally this would have, you know, an actual sort of 3-way bullet on it, but the problem is it won't be vertically centered on this power up symbol, which just looks horrible. So, you know, I don't want to do that. Yeah, don't know what to do about that. I could write B or P or something like that, but I think that's okay. I mean, it will have to do. It sort of says your bullet's going to be different. Or I could do the original bullet. I could put a plus sign on there or something. I don't know. It's better anyway. Better than what it was. Right, so another thing I want to do, I'm just going to save, is make this bounce up and down maybe, or what I did in, I'm just going to load up Ludum Dare again, where's my computer one, LD48, run. What I did with the chips is they're collectible and they bounce up and down a couple of pixels, but I did it in a really cheap and nasty way. I got the sprite and I had 2 at the bottom, whoops, 2 frames at the bottom, 1 in transition, 2 at the top, which makes a primitive sine wave. I did it with a key as well. And it works pretty well, but I don't really want to do that with the power up, because the thing is, if I go back to Cyberjam, okay, if I want different ones with different images on, you know, I can't waste 6 whole frames for one power up and then another power up 6 more frames and so on. I mean, it's bad enough doing stuff like rotating this eyeball like that. You know, we don't have a lot of sprites to play with. So I could get rid of this bullet sign and have one power up icon which randomly gives you a different power up, which kind of could be interesting. Maybe it might make the game, each run through of the game, feel different because you'll have different powers at different times. So that's interesting to me. Or I have, you know, different power up icons for different power ups that you can pick up, and then they're fixed in the game at certain times and places. I mean, I think they were fixed in Cybernoid, were they, or not? I'm not sure. Maybe some of the enemies actually dropped different power ups. So but you could see what they were before you were getting them. That's the thing. Not sure. This is an interesting design decision, because I sort of think it might be fun if you came across different power-ups and you came across one and you didn't know what it was till you got it, and it would make the game feel a bit different on a different playthrough, make it more interesting for speedrunners perhaps. Or do they prefer games which are deterministic? Maybe they do. Well, anyway, the point is, even if I did keep this one and only had one design and tried to bounce it up and down, in graphics there's not enough room vertically to do that. So I need to do it in code. And what we're going to do is look for the enemy update code. There's something in here. Oh, this is the enemy code. There should be a giant function which updates all the enemies. Here it is. Oh no, this is the creation, make enemy, update enemies. Okay, so it checks what kind of pattern the enemy's got and so on. Bounce in a line. Okay, so I could give the power up a pattern, which just means bounce up and down. Pattern 2. What does pattern 0 do? Bounce in a line. Okay. So probably the power up when it's created, I mean, I haven't actually done anything about that. But when the yeah, this is where all the enemies are created. But when the power-up's created in here, I'm not assigning it any kind of pattern or speed or anything at all. So I'm going to do that now, right at the bottom, I think. So, yeah, okay. If ID equals 104, this could be a range later on if I create different power-ups, and then let's just pattern. Yeah, it needs a unique pattern, which I don't know which ones I haven't used before. I'm going to say 3 for now. So update enemies. Let's just check. Pattern is 0, 2, 3 has been used. Else move in a range. Okay. Well, I do want it to move in a range, but I want it to bounce. Yeah. So I'm going to add in a new else here. put a comment in, bounce, this is for power-ups, bounce. Actually, I don't need an end because there's an else down here. So I need to set it up here actually. What was it? 104? Pattern equals 4. Yeah. Okay. So I need to change the coordinates a little bit. Trying to think about the best way to do this. I sort of need to have a counter running, and it's going to just sort of change the y coordinate based upon the sine wave that's going on. I think there's a sine in this. Yeah. Okay. So we want it to go up and down, up and down. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to use the full 360. Now I don't know whether Pico-8 uses radians or degrees, so we'll have to figure that one out. Yeah, let's go back to where the bullet is created. The powerup's created 104. I'm going to add a new field called sine counter. Whoops. Sine counter equals 0 for now. Yeah. And then 104. Why is it not finding that? Oh, pattern 4. Okay. So I'm going to add one to sine counter. Plus, I can't remember if plus plus works in this. I think so. Let's just run it and see. No. So plus equals 1. No. Oh, because I need s dot. Did I put a space in sine counter? Probably should have. Sine. Oh, interesting. I've already got one. Sine timer. All right, I'll use that. So 104. Sine timer. Let's look up how I used that elsewhere. I used it for, I've just remembered I used it for enemies which fly in a sort of sine wave. I'll just show you them. Oh, code's not running. Sine timer. Yeah, so let's just try and find the right screen. Yeah, there they are. Flying in a sine wave. So, if I look for how I used that elsewhere before, that will give me a good clue. Sine timer +1, offset y. Perfect. This is exactly what I want. So pattern equals 4. What's wrong with that? Okay. So we change the sprite, we give it an offset. Now I'm not sure, that should affect its collision actually. Yeah. And then there's a timer on it. Fine, and I could alter that timer. Brilliant. I've coded it already. Perfect. Let's have a look. So it's bouncing, yeah, up and down, but unfortunately it's going into the scenery. It's also quite a big bounce. I don't think I want such a big bounce. I'm going to do a couple of pixels. Yeah, I could speed it up. Does that speed it up? No, I'm not sure about that. Yeah. Okay, so it's going into the scenery, but that's easy enough to fix because when I spawn it, 104, whoops, 104, I can actually just take a bit off of the y coordinate, minus equals 1. Yeah, there we go. Let's test whether I was suspicious on the collision detection then. Like I wasn't sure. In fact, an easy way to test this will be to make it go up a huge amount and then try to collide with it really high up. Oh dear, that means the collision isn't working. Does that mean I never coded the collision for these things? That would be really bad if I have not done that. Let's have another look. Oh dear, I haven't coded. That's terrible. Okay, so visually it's adjusting the offset Y, but it's not doing anything about that in the collision code. That's really bad. Let's have a look. I'm just looking through the code to see if I'm using it anywhere else. What's this? No. Okay. So in bullet versus enemies, I wonder if it's using it here, the offset. Hitbox offset. No. That does make me wonder if there's two collision issues. One might be on the player and on the bullet. So let's go here. It does. Yeah, it's just going through them. That is so bad of me to code it like that. Okay, so let's fix the bullets first. So bullets versus enemies. X, right. We need to have, what's the field called? Just offset. Actually, look for sine timer. So offset Y. Okay. I mean, that's visual offset. Yeah. So we just need to add a bit more code in here. Plus E dot offset Y. Whoops, Y. Just checking S dot offset Y, right. Enemy offset. I don't know if there's an enemy offset X. In fact, this might crash if the offset doesn't exist for all enemies. Yeah, just gonna have to check that. Offset Y. Hitbox, yeah. If it's not created for all enemies, maybe it's part of the sprite class though. Yeah, it is. Okay, fine. I know there's a thing called hitbox offset, and I don't think that's going to be useful in this scenario. I'm not sure though. It might have worked already. So probably I should add it to the X coordinate as well. Yeah, okay. So this should mean the bullets now hit the sine wave enemies. Go right to the top. Yeah, that is working. Look. And then, yeah, that's working. But player collision isn't, so we just need to do the same thing. Basically put these into the player collision stuff. Bullet versus enemies. Where's player versus enemies? Player versus enemies. Get the enemy, there it is, plus that, and then plus that. Run. So now, yeah, they do hit you clearly when they fly up. You can go over them, but if I think that's right. Yeah, and we can test that on the power up. So yeah, it worked. But interestingly, it showed the pickup effect, not taking the offset into account. Does that mean the explosions for these things are in the wrong place as well? I think it does. Let's just shoot one near the top. Yeah, I think it means the explosions are in the wrong place. So both of these offsets need to be applied to enemy explode. Yeah. Yeah, where's enemy explode? In here somewhere. Enemy explode. Right, explosion type, here we go. Okay. Okay, so this is the explosion with the specific offsets, but I feel like, yeah, power up, destroyed, make sparkles. Okay, I feel like what I need to do is set up a local X variable, which is enemy.x, whoops, plus the offset stuff. Copy that line, y equals enemy y offset y. Okay, and then I'm going to use those here instead of this longer version. Yeah, that's okay. Then x, and where's the y? Y, yeah, x, and then y. Okay, so that should fix the explosions. Let's check. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm seeing the explosions at different y's, so I think that worked. We just need to do the same thing for the power up. So yeah, and that we'll just change this. So when you pick the power up, the sparkles should be in the right place. Good. Well, that was a rigmarole. And admittedly, that was a bit perfectionist, because when we go back to creating the sine, when we go back to bounce the power up, we only want to bounce it 2 pixels. So there wouldn't have been a lot of difference for the sparkles, but I just happened to notice that bug and I fixed it in case something else bounces more in the future. Yeah, so it's invulnerable, but you can pick it up, turns into sparkles. There we go. Cool. So I think that's enough for now. I've done quite a lot of stuff. What I was thinking of doing though was actually not having the power-ups be permanent. The power-ups, I want them to be timed. So you get them and they only last a small amount of time and they wear off. So that means showing them up on the UI, perhaps with a counter that counts down from 10 or 20 seconds or whatever. And then when it's gone, it's gone. So I sort of will need to show either that power-up icon, which is what you've got, but it's too big to fit on the UI. It's going to overwrite the UI. Or a smaller icon that indicates you've got a power up and a number next to it, but there's not a lot of space on the UI. I mean, one thing I could do is shrink the score by a certain amount, or where it says lives, I could get rid of the word lives at the top. Yeah, not sure. I'll have a think about that and I'll do that next time. So this is enough for now. Thanks for watching. Come back for the next one. Bye.